Derby-winning trainer Tony Pike kindly joins us on the Punters Lounge Live. Good morning, Tony. How are things with your team in general today?
Yeah, everything seems good, Jason. Talked to Craig Baker this morning. He said they've tried to put plenty of water on the track. Obviously, it's been difficult with the prevailing very hot conditions we've had and a bit of wind in Auckland, but he assures me it should be a perfect surface today. So he's hoping for a great day's racing.
To the sweeps at Avondale Guineas, where you've got a couple of runners in the race, and I want to primarily speak about Surely Sacred, the horse that's shortest in the market and has looked very exciting on occasions. He's $4.40 with the money coming for Cut a Deal. That's now into $3. You've got Vernon Me there at $8.50. How happy are you with where Surely Sacred sits in his prep, and how ready will he be for today?
Yeah, look, he's in perfect condition. He's fifth run in this preparation. Look, he probably would be a bit shorter if he'd had a bit of luck in the Craig a Million Smile. He ended up in a nice spot, three back the fence, but they just went a very slow tempo and he ended up getting shuffled up back to the rear of the field. And look, he really probably couldn't run any better than he did, considering the sectionals of the race. So, yeah, I think the step up to 2100 with his pedigree is going to suit. He's got a perfect gully in gate 6, and he'll prove very hard to beat today.
How highly do you rate this horse overall? Obviously, we saw him brilliantly win on New Year's Day, and then he did hit the line strongly last start, as we're watching right now. How highly do you rate him?
Well, he's a little bit untapped, Jason. He's a very laid-back, relaxed horse. He doesn't do a lot in his track work, and he probably surprised me winning on debut at Tirapa the way he did. Admittedly, it was only a maiden race, but he sat 3 wide on the speed over 1200 that day and did it very well and beat quite a handy horse. So I just think he's a little bit untapped. He's got an enormous turn of foot on him. He showed 2 starts back when winning the Great Northern Guineas. And, really exciting prospect going forward into the later part of the 3-year-old season.
Speaking about the Avondale Guineas specifically, how do you see the race panning out, and what would be your A1 spot for him in the running?
It's always difficult, obviously. It's a big field of 3-year-olds. Some of them are suspect at the trip. On paper, it looks like no speed, but obviously that can be a trap at times. Sometimes a couple of runners decide to change tactics due to the lack of speed on paper, and they set up a genuine tempo. So we've probably got the luxury of a good gate in gate 6. The only reason he's probably got so far back in his races in the past has really been through wide barriers. He took up a midfield position in the Craig a Million Smile until he got shuffled up. So I think Vinny will probably be a little bit positive into the first corner, and if he could land in the first 7 or 8, one off the fence with cover, it'd probably be ideal.
How confident are you that he could stamp himself as the horse to beat with a view to the Vodafone Derby in a couple of weeks' time?
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, this race is a great form guide going into the Derby. Look, on paper, it's probably the stronger race compared to the Waikato Guineas. Obviously, Cut a Deal's beaten in his last 3 starts, and a lot of promising 3-year-olds in the race today. So I would be saying the New Zealand Derby favourite will definitely be coming out of today's race.
Eagle, what can we expect from the son of Rip Van Winkle today? Coming off a third at Hastings over the 2,000 metres, he must really benefit from having had that under his belt. Yeah,
look, he's probably a little bit longer in the market than I thought he might be. He's drawn a perfect gate in barrier 2. He just got a little bit awkward left-handed at Hawke's Bay, to be fair. First time against the older horses. Admittedly, this is a huge jumping class, but he was good at LNC 2 starts ago. Whether this is a preparation too soon from, we'll find out today. But if he gets a soft run on the fence like he should do, close to the speed, it wouldn't surprise me to see him fill a placing anyway.
Who's the horse to beat in your mind?
I'll clearly Cut a Deal. I think Murray's always had a very high opinion of him, obviously by a done deal. I know he's worked very well through the week, and I think he's definitely the horse to beat today's race.
In race number 5, you line up Rangipo and also Ever Loyal. How happy are you with how Ever Loyal came out of his last start?
Yeah, really pleased, Jason. Obviously fresh up for 12 months. Never an easy task, especially off only one barrier trial, but he's possibly a bit unlucky not to win the Concord. He just got held up a touch before getting clear and really hitting the line strongly. So he appears to have come through it in perfect order. His work's been outstanding through the week. He looks fantastic in condition, and again he's still on a good gate in gate 2, and probably in a sprint race that doesn't appear to have a lot of speed in it now that the Justice League is out. So he'll probably take up a position just in behind the leaders somewhere, and barring bad luck, he's going to have to be extremely hard to beat.
Yeah, preempted somewhat my sort of question. It's funny, isn't it? It's a short course race without much early speed on paper. So given his draw, you would sort of expect Michael to be positive?
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, it's the luxury of having a good barrier draw. We can be a little bit positive out of the barriers and just see what the rest of the field's doing in the first 400 metres of the race. But he has raced handy in the past. Probably used to get a bit keen as a 3-year-old, but he's definitely matured and racing a lot more tractably now. So, look, we'll be positive out of the gates, and then it'll be very much up to Michael, depending on the early tempo of the race.
What can we expect to see from Rangipo when he presents today, the former Derby winner?
Oh, look, he's obviously not the horse he was as a 3-year-old, but he's still loving life, and he looks fantastic, to be fair, the old boy. So he has sprinted well in the past before. I think he ran third the Darley Plate fresh up maybe last season. So, look, he's only a rough chance today, but if they did happen to inject some speed into the race at some stage, it wouldn't surprise me to see him flashing home late.
Going through the horses that you'll take to Ellerslie today, and here are Tony Pike's runners in the first and last races, double-handed and with strong chances as well, Weaker Force and River Run. What do you expect from those horses? Yeah,
look, Weaker Force, she's come back really well from Christchurch. The 1,000 guineas we probably knew, but she'd be racing well down there, and we had a roll of the dice, but just didn't get the 1,600 metres, albeit it's still a very good run. She only got collared the last furlong of the race. She trialled brilliantly here at Cambridge on Tuesday. She's a natural on-speed runner. Again, in a race that doesn't look to have a lot of speed on paper over 1,200 metres. So I'd say she'll likely lead or sit outside the leader, and based up her barrier trial Tuesday and the way she's come through it, I think she's going to be very hard to beat.
Who's your best, Tony, across the card? Who's the runner that you expect to win?
Oh, look, probably Everlaw, Jason, but look at 2.2, he's short enough for any punter. I do like River Run in the last. I've always thought he's a nice staying horse. We elected to run in the Taranaki Challenge, which wasn't ideal for him, dropping back to 1,400 metres last start. Jeff Taylor had a slot in the race, and he performed credibly on an on-speed bias day. So I think the step up to 2,100 metres is really going to suit, and he's definitely a horse to follow through the staying races into the autumn.
Really appreciate your time this morning. Tony Pike, all the best to you for all the runners that you take to Ellerslie.